Hey kids, Adam here. Welcome to the first in a series of videos for 2023. This is the bass riff of the month for January. Math and calendars tell you that I'm going to plan on doing 12 of these this year, one per month. Hopefully I'll get them out a little bit sooner in the month than probably what will be the second to last day, depending on when I get this out. But I thought I would just kind of do this. I have a bunch of riffs that we don't use in my band that I come up with from time to time that I don't have anything to do with, don't have really any way to write a song around them. So I figured I'd do it on the channel here, do a little bit of instruction video. So this riff is in D. It is a full slap riff. There's a couple things you need to know before going into this. And I'll put a card here for my bass chordal slap video that I did a couple of years ago now. And what I emphasize in there is that when you're slapping for your right hand, you want to use, obviously your thumb is doing slapping, but for popping, you want to use your first and your second finger. So you want to use your first finger on the D string, second finger on the G string, and then if you're slapping down on the lower strings, you want to do the first finger on the A, second finger on the D. That way you can do cool things like the little triplet at the end. You can't do that if you're not using both fingers for popping. I use that almost exclusively on my bass playing. Started that really when I started slap, and it really helped. If you're only using one finger for slap, it's going to take a while to get used to. You're probably not going to like it. You're probably going to say, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about because it works for me. Great, but then good luck doing or whatever it's going to be. So let's start breaking this riff down. There are essentially, it's the same riff repeated. There are a couple different parts to it. I'm doing a couple different techniques, a number of different techniques that are probably new to some of you just beginning slap. Probably anyone who's experienced slap players like, oh, that's pretty basic, but I just want to get something kind of intermediate. I don't want to do really anything like flashy. There's enough of those guys that do that on the internet. I'm just looking for an actually usable riff that I can teach people how to play. So let's start out. It's in D. Actually, I'm using this bass because it's one of my few basses that have markers on the fret so you can see where I am. The first thing is using the thumb as a second pop. So I'm doing as my first two notes, but the third note is another slap with the thumb on that high D. I know some people will do two pops with two fingers. That's fine too. I just find it easier for me to do, slap for me is more of a back and forth motion. I want to be able to have something that I can come off of to come back to the slap. So for starters, these are two ghost notes that are going to be on the A string. You don't want to fret any notes. You don't want to actually have a note there. You just want to have so that is a hammer-on, a ghost note slap, a hammer-on, a ghost note slap, and a hammer-on. So for beginning up until there, let me slow this way down. I'm not going to do it with a metronome or anything. And I'm not going to have tabs. Actually, I didn't really learn how to play bass using tabs. I was able to read sheet music, and I just played by ear. I'm not really that good with transcription. If anyone wants to offer transcription services for these riffs, we could work something out. Contact me, either comment or contact me on Facebook or whatever. But I'm just going to be playing through these at a slower tempo. So the bass riff up until that point, now I'm going to be overemphasizing the ghost notes. In real play, you're not going to want to play them quite this forward. It's more of a natural feel. Once again, really slow. Left hand isn't doing anything, staying in the same position. The second half of the first part of this riff is the same thing, but instead of going back down, we're doing a slide up. So I am playing that little note here, the C, along with the F. You can kind of hear that in the background a little bit. It's not a key part of the riff. So again, real slow from the beginning. So the next part of the riff is the same thing, but then the second half goes down to the C. So it's the first time we're doing a shift with the left hand, so it's the same thing with the hammer-on, the ghost note, the hammer-on. So, and then instead of going back up, we're just moving down to the F here, and then playing the open, so playing the C with the thumb. So. Last part of this riff is the triplet notes. So it's, again, using the thumb for all that except for the pop. And then we want to do thumb, first finger, second finger, and then move up a half step, do the same thing. So. And that one's hard to play slow, because you have to really emphasize it. It's more of just a gliding motion, almost a flamenco style guitar. So let me do the second half of this riff, starting with a D. And I'm not playing that in time because the triplets are so much faster than that. So, and then the second time of the riff is the same exact thing, except for after the triplet part, I'm just holding on to a D and sliding out. So from the beginning, I'll do this a couple different speeds, and then I'll play along to the drums here. Do it a little bit slower. See if I can do this. It's one of these riffs that's hard to play slow. Let's play it along to the drums a couple times. This is just a drum beat that I found in Easy Drummer, and I threw a fill in the front and some clicks and stuff. You'll notice there, I missed one of the, but in the grand scheme of things, if you're playing this in a band with a bunch of instruments and everything else going on, you're not going to hit every single note perfectly every time. Leave that up to like the YouTube, phenoms who are playing perfect, bass riffs every time, tapping and popping, all that kind of stuff. They are doing takes hundreds of times to get a perfect take and editing video together and everything. I'm not about that. I'm more about the feel of the playing than anything. So don't worry about that if you're playing this along to drums, or if you want to do this in a band or whatever, send me it over. It sounds great. And I'll give you a critique on it and see what I think. So that is really it. In these bass videos, I'm not going to do a lot of intros and outros and things. I'll put the channel intro and outro that I always have, but I'm not going to do jokes. I'm not going to do outtakes. I'm not going to do any of that. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what you think of these. Like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. But let me know what you think of this riff. If it's something you can play, if it's too easy, if it's too hard. I will be doing fingerstyle riffs in this. They won't be all slap. This is the first one I came up with, and I decided it would be good for the channel and to start this series off. So until next time, have an amazing week, and look forward to the February edition in February sometime.